Hello and welcome back to Nightshift Industries. In this episode, we're going to be dealing with some of the holes in the caddy, like this one. So we're going to start up here with the sunroof surround and getting the frame in and ready to be built up. Now, I wouldn't be a huge fan of sunroofs in cars, especially not classic cars, because inevitably they're going to leak. However, beggars can't be choosers, and the truck did come with the sunroof. So when I was having it restored, I had this dilemma: should I get a roof cut? Should I try and patch it up? Should I buy a carbon skin? And actually what I ended up doing was leaving as it was. I thought it's original. Now, I say original. Let's take a look. As you can see by how this has been cut out, I say original, but these weren't fitted at the factory. They were dealer fit options, which means that the fitting is somewhat, should we call it, imperfect. So the challenge of this is getting the frame back in. So we've got the frame here, we're good to go. So this is the external frame, which has been powder coated, and this is the internal one. And these are lots of the screws. So we're going to put the frame back in, bolt in the top of it, and that will bring the metal in and align everything and keep it taut while the Tiger Seal dries. That's the plan. We're going to see how it goes. I've never done this before, so we're going to learn as we go. One of the most uncomfortable places I've ever sat, perched. Anyway, I have transferred the diagram into a piece of paper because it's handier to get, as the whiteboard is over there. So piece of paper, pen and tape measure. So I'm going to pick a couple of points, like on each, on the front and on the rear, and then on the sides, and then I'm going to get them as square as possible in terms of where they're at in the roof. Now, as you can see, hopefully you can see this in the video, there's a bit of forward and back movement. So that's really the one between the front and the back of the roof that we're going to keep an eye on. Left to right, there really isn't. So the reality is it's going to be where it is. We'll find out whether or not that's actually square, but I'm not getting into cutting it, making the hole bigger. It could just be more headache. So if it's not quite in the middle, we will leave it as it is and call it OEM plus. So gonna get into these measurements. Measurements all done, so let's start transferring them from there, which is a bit of a mess, as you can see, onto here. So the back, 22.4 and 22.4. The sides, 21.5, 21.5, and the same on this. And the front was 21.2 on both sides. So with that, I have to withdraw my previous statement about if it's not in the middle. It absolutely is in the middle, and credit where credit's due. The hole may not be the neatest thing in the world, but it's absolutely where it needs to be. So what I did there, maybe you've seen in the time lapse, I went inside and nipped up the bolt so that it can't move forward and back now. Verified twice all of the measurements to make sure they're now what's on the board for reference. Next step, I'm going to tape around, actually onto the bodywork, because we're going to run Tiger Seal onto the frame. Then we're going to clamp it, so it's likely that some of it will leak out. I'll try not to put too much on, but some of it will leak out, so the masking will give us a nice straight edge to be able to smooth that, lift it off, and hopefully have it in, which will be a huge milestone moment because this job has terrified me for probably a few years now. So we're going to do it. Tonight's the night. So next step, some more masking. Just some panel wipe to try and make sure this actually sticks. But while we're on this topic, and I'm getting this ready to put the tape on, isn't it really interesting that actually it can be jobs like this that stall an entire project? So in my case, this was a huge one. Initially, I tried to find a replacement sunroof. I then, couldn't get one. I actually missed out on one. They sold about a week after. Or a week before I made the inquiry. And then I thought, okay, well, how am I going to refurbish this one? So I sent this away to be powder coated. This was powder coated in 2020, so I still remember driving it to the powder coaters during lockdown. And yeah, I then found a replacement seal, which was a huge thing because the seal had fallen apart, which is sitting on the shelf there. But the idea of trying to get this in and not getting it absolutely perfect actually terrified me to the point where I didn't want to move forward with it. So, which is so silly saying it out loud, but often it can be the case when we're starting and trying new things. So here we are anyway, getting over that fear, carrying on and giving it our best go. Okay, let's get it masked. That's the masking done. I'm going to be honest, I enjoyed doing the corners more than I probably should admit. What I'm going to do now, 2 different colours of Sharpie, one green and one purple, and I'm just going to put marks on the tape that's on the frame and the tape that's on the car to make sure when I put it back on they at least roughly line up. I will double check all of my measurements, but I'm thinking while I nip up the bolts inside and there's tiger seal and I've only got a limited amount of work time, probably best just to have those as a quick visual reference. So let's do that. Then we'll take it all apart and I'll meet you back on the bench to start putting the tiger seal in. Let me quickly explain the 2 colours. Passenger side of the car, green lines. Driver side, purple. Hopefully that will come out. The hope being that that stops me if I panic, and I'm likely to panic and throw it on the wrong way around, which we're not going to do. Okay, onto the bench, tiger seal, let's go. Okay, everything has been panel wiped down. We're now good to go. Let's get the bead onto the frame, and then we'll get it lifted onto the next bit of fun. I honestly don't believe it. I got the tiger seal, put it into the gun, started squeezing. I was like, this is awfully hard to get out. And yeah, then I sort of squeezed it and thought it's quite rubbery. Turns out it is expired. Never used before, it was the first time it's opened, but obviously it's old enough that it's solidified inside the tube. So with that, I don't have anything else. It is about 9 o'clock at night, so I can't go and grab another tube at the moment. So we will pause here and come back another evening to finish this now that we've got some momentum. So with the magic of YouTube, I will see you in a second. Just like that, we are back. It's another day. We have new sealant ready to go. Everything has been re-panel wiped down, ready to fit it. So I'm going to put this onto a time lapse. Let's get it. I think that was one of the most stressful things I have ever done on a car. So my fear, I feel, was actually warranted. But, let me see. It is in and sealed. The paint's not wrecked. Bring it around this side. See, it really changes how the car looks, which is class. I've also got something to go on the bonnet, which will tie the black theme in, but that's for another video. Good. And then underneath, used the frame to hold it in and make sure that it's all aligned. So you can see there, nice and flat against the bodywork. If, when you were watching that clip, you thought, well, that looks a bit stressful, even though it will have been sped up, it was very stressful. What happened? I put the sealant into kind of the corner of the joint, thinking, put it in there, it'll flow outwards and seal lovely. Well, it didn't seal lovely. That is not what happened. What happened was it pushed into the car. So I was frantically running about trying to stop it dripping into the car, trying to clean it up inside, and then actually ended up taking the frame off and putting more sealant actually around the channels, which then pushed it out onto the tape. So thank goodness I'd done the tape. At one point as well, I sort of scrambled around and started to try and use clamps because I was worried about it going off, but we abandoned that idea. So a bit frantic, but I said the channel moving forward will give the real view of how these things go. So that is exactly how that went. Now we've got 48 hours to let that cure, so we'll come back and then get the glass in. Here we are a couple of days later, and honestly I couldn't be happier with how this turned out. Give you a look. The seal has just, cured really nicely. Really happy with the finish. Is it absolutely perfect? No, but for the first time I've ever done something like that, super chuffed. So I said we're going to come back and put the glass in. We're not going to put the glass in because we've got more sealing work to do. Of course, there is a sunroof seal. So the seal actually sits in this channel here, and I was able to source, again, absolutely impossible to find this stuff. So I managed to source a seal. So if I take the seal and put it in, the seal will sit like this. Exactly the same problem as I had having bought the Tiger seal originally a very long time ago. This tube that got supplied with the seal when I sourced it is out of date. It's a 2-year shelf life and it expired 3 years ago. So had to wait for another tube to arrive, and we're going to get this in. Now the seal, when you put it in around the outside, it'll pull out on one side. It's quite a tight fit, so what I'm going to do is do a kind of corner at a time, or run at a time, and then tape it in place, and then we'll leave it for 24 hours and come back again. So this is turning out to be quite the stop start and let everything dry and get in place. But I'd rather take my time getting it right now so that the sunroof doesn't leak. That would be the ideal outcome. So enough waffle, let's get the seal in. That's that done. Got a wee bit more tape on it just to make sure that it is all clamped down and even. It looks good. The one thing I have had to do is clamp the corner, and I clamped the corner because that's where the tension, so that was the last one that I did. So hopefully those clamps keep it in the channel that it needs to be in. Next, move up some of the mess. I need to throw some stuff out. For the reference of the video as well, the wine bottle that you may have seen entering in and out of shot is not wine, it's panel wipe. Just happened to be in a bottle. Thought I'd clarify that in the video, not drinking red wine on the job. So yeah, back to the desk. We have all of these different parts. That's the winding mechanism. which if you think goes like that, and then it winds up and down. This goes into the sunroof, into the actual glass panel. We got all of those powder coated, and these are the front hinges as well. So we'll come back in 24 hours. Everything in this project takes 24 hours. But when we come back in 24 hours, get the glass assembled and get it back in, and that'll be us done. So again, by the magic of YouTube, that is us back peeling off tape. The seal seems to have stuck really well, which is great. Just check, no actual gaps in it, and yeah, it went off really well. So I'm going to finish doing this, put you in a time lapse, and start getting all of the components back together. So this is the stuff that goes into the glass, the actual mechanism itself that winds it up and down, and then the various other screws and different bits and pieces, and most importantly, the glass, which has also got a really cool kind of tint on it. But without waffling on for too much longer, just going to get it put together and show you the end product. Couple of things on this. First of all, initially I had fitted the hinges onto the glass and thought I'd do it that way around on the front, and then lower it down onto the back here. Of course, you've seen me kind of fit it and go, that's a really silly idea to try and wedge the whole sunroof frame in that much, so stop that. But now I've realized that this is blocked by the inside frame. So I need to take the inside frame off to get those in, and then set the glass on top of it and screw it all down. But on the plus side, if I go back in, this is the mechanism on the inside, and the original adjuster, which all works, which is wonderful. So I'm gonna get cracking on with this and yeah, take the frame off. Well folks, there we have it. One sunroof fitted. I actually forgot it had that sort of bronze tint to it. In terms of the fitting, looks really good, really even all around. One thing just to call out, this is a wee bit off center, so I will loosen that back up and straighten it, but I'm absolutely delighted with how that's come together. I'll just walk around to the other side and show you. So again, all lined up, all nice. Seal doing its job, compressed, so I'll probably leave it like that just to get a bit of pressure on it and let the seal take its kind of natural form. So then I'll take out and just adjust that back hinge piece, which was a real pain to try and get at because I don't have a Torx bit small enough, but I will for next time. But for the sake of this video, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Plenty more to come on the Mark 1. The frame is now out of the interior, and I have not put that back in because we're going to start trimming the interior. So that's a bit of a flavour of what's to come. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.